The Cardiac Cats have done it again to the Tennessee Volunteers.
You are Locked On Kentucky, your daily podcast on the Kentucky Wildcats, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, what's going on, Big Blue Nation? Welcome on into Locked On Kentucky. I'm your host, Lance Dawe, and on tonight's episode of Locked On Kentucky, we are going to be recapping Kentucky's thrilling 74-71 win over the Tennessee Volunteers, a sweep of Ament and company. Another furious comeback from the Cats, the Cardiac Cats, as we like to call them, the Unpredictables. Get it done again against 74-71. Cats now improved to 17-7, 8-3 in SEC play. What a huge win for Mark Pope after this looked like it was going to get ugly towards the end of the first half, but they fight back again and break the Vols' hearts. Really appreciate all of you tuning in. If you're watching this one live on YouTube, greatly appreciate you watching the show. If you've noticed everything here, if you're watching on YouTube, we are leaning fully into the Denim Night, the 1996 National Championship team celebration. I'm wearing denim jeans. You can't see it. I'm wearing a light blue shirt as well. The show is got denim accents for everything. Again, I really appreciate you guys tuning in. This was a really fun one. I can't wait to break this one down. If you have not subscribed already, would love it if you went ahead and did so. If you're watching live on YouTube or if you're listening to this on the podcast. Okay, let's go ahead and get into it. 74-71 again was the final score. Cats were getting drilled in the first half. It was an ugly one for Kentucky, both, I think, on defense and then from the perimeter shooting themselves. The thing that has defined these Tennessee-Kentucky matchups since Mark Pope came back to Lexington to coach this team was the three-point shooting from Kentucky. In the first two games in the regular season, Kentucky found a way to shoot the lights out of the ball in both of those contests against Rick Barnes' squad. 12 of 24, I believe, Kentucky went from deep in both of those games. Then they turn around in the NCAA tournament. Pretty poor shooting performance, pretty poor performance offensively all around. And then they come back to Knoxville, and again, this season, they're shooting the lights out of the ball. And I said in the preview episode, the thing that's going to keep Kentucky going is if they can find a way to shoot well in this game. If Tennessee shows something different defensively, then Kentucky might have a hard time. And in this game, it looked like, the first half at least, it looked like Tennessee was coming out with more aggression, trying to guard the three-point line, trying to force Kentucky off of it. And 2 of 9 is what Kentucky went from shooting from three in the first half. Meanwhile, on the other side, 8 of 15 shooting from the Volunteers. And who else but their 2 scorers? They don't have a great third option. Who else but Ament and Jacoby Gillespie? 4 of 8 and 4 of 6 from deep to combine to go 8 of 15. Absolutely bizarre shooting from them. And I said I was watching this. Shout out Jake Evans if he's watching in the live chat as well. Shout out Alex if he's tuning in as well. I said, sitting there watching this game, that it felt like this was unsustainable. We agreed that it was unsustainable for Tennessee to continue to shoot as well as they were in that first period, which gave me some confidence for the second half. But the thing that I was worried about was Kentucky's effort defensively. It seemed like they were just a step or two slow consistently on drives, on closeouts. Defensively, it just looked like they were just barely not quite there. And so we go into the second half, Kentucky shooting poorly, Tennessee shooting the lights out, and I wanted to see if Kentucky could give some effort, try and claw their way back into this game, but I didn't really. I had kind of resigned myself to a more than likely a loss because Tennessee just came in and looked like they wanted this one more. And this team continues to prove us wrong time and time again. Shocking what they did in the second half on defense. I believe this has already been tweeted out by a bunch of different people, but I want to bring attention to it here. It's literally the only thing I have written down on my notes. 6 of 30. That is what Tennessee shot in the second half. 6 of 30. That is incredible defense from Kentucky. And there were not a lot of open looks. Now, yes, Tennessee missed some bunnies at the rim. So did Kentucky. But there was not a single open shot It felt like for the entirety of that second half. The Cardiac Cats love to make it interesting in the second period of play, and they fought like they were going to die if they did not get this win in the second half. I love the effort. I love the energy. I love the crowd being into it. I love the momentum that Kentucky found themselves building in that second half to where you finally break through. And it's kind of a battle back and forth for the final few minutes of the game. And Kentucky needs a bucket. And who do they turn to? A baseline drive from Oweh. He's cut off. He's in the area. Has nowhere to go. He kicks it out to Chandler, the most clutch player so far down the stretch here for the Cats. And he reins in a triple to give Kentucky the lead. What a beautiful play. Beautiful execution, and it's your best, as Jimmy Dykes said on the broadcast, it's your best under pressure shooter, and he knocks it down for you to essentially secure the lead. But that wasn't it. That wasn't it. Kentucky still needed to go to the charity stripe after forcing a Tennessee miss, a turnaround fadeaway from Ament, such a tough shot. They need to go to the free throw line to knock down some shots. First one missed, and Mo Dioubate comes across the lane past Amari Evans to go secure the game-winning rebound. And thank goodness he had the mind to kick it out to Denzel Aberdeen so that he did not get fouled. I still would have been pretty confident with Mo shooting those free throws, but what an effort and awareness from Kentucky in the final few minutes to just lock in and to do the right things to close this game out. That shot from Gillespie, by the way, almost going in, nearly through my heart, I ripped my heart out of my chest. It was terrifying, that shot almost banking in. What a game. A thriller in Rupp Arena. 74-71. And I will go ahead. I don't really want to touch on this too much because I feel like it sours such a great victory for Kentucky that I want to celebrate tonight. Pat Adams had a very poor, he had a poor night. He had a bad night, and I understand us Kentucky fans, we make a big deal out of everything. We make a big deal out of the officiating, what's happening on the road, the type of ball that we're using, all of this different stuff. We overanalyze everything. And I don't want to just every single time I get on the show rail about officiating. It was not consistent tonight, and it wasn't good. It wasn't good in the first Tennessee game, but again, I think that's also, as I've said before, it's a product of how Tennessee elects to play defense. Uber physical, try and make the officials call it. They want to bring that energy. They want to be really physical, and it's just a matter of how the officials handle it throughout the course and flow of a game. I did not think Pat Adams did a good job tonight. Super late whistles, as the chat notes already. Super late whistles. A couple of them I just straight up disagreed with. Oweh was deprived of the block of the year because of a whistle from Pat Adams. That was a bad foul. There were a lot of moments in this game where I just didn't feel like the officiating either needed to get involved or they got involved in the wrong way. And frankly, it was mostly in Kentucky's favor the first time around. This time around, I felt like it was keeping Tennessee in this game, and especially in the second half. But Kentucky outscores the Vols 41-24 in the second period. They end up shooting a clean 50% from the game. Tennessee just 37% despite 29 points from Nate Ament this time around. What else can you say? Cats pick up another huge quad one win. Now 8-3 in SEC play. We thought this team was dead in the water when they were 0-2, 9-6. They have now won 8 out of their last 9. And they are on fire to close out the season. It's not been pretty. It's not been perfect. Kentucky still has flaws. They still have the ability to slip into the abyss and just give up, as we saw against Vanderbilt. And who knows, we may see some of that against Florida on Saturday. But the good thing is you have a week of rest, and you are coming off 2 of the biggest wins of the year against Arkansas and now against Tennessee. You have everything right there in front of you. Everything right there in front of you. I love the mental space that this team is in currently. Resilient and fighting. That's what I want to see out of Kentucky to close out the year. And they gave it their all, especially in the second half of this one, 74-71. We'll continue to break this one down. We will get to the live chat. I really appreciate all of you tuning in. We'll tell you guys about our friends over at FanDuel because it is the last call for football on FanDuel. It's one final Sunday, one last kickoff, the final chance to get in on the action before the NFL season actually comes to a close. It's Super Bowl 60, and FanDuel is making sure you are right in the middle of it with a special offer just in time for the biggest game of the year. Whether you're backing the favorite, riding with the underdog, Patriots, or building one last same-game parlay, maybe around the receivers in this game, this is the game everyone's been waiting for. I'm really excited for it. It's where predictions turn into plays, stats turn into storylines, and every snap just feels bigger. If you're a new customer, you can bet just $5, $5 and you get $200 in bonus bets if you win. Make it count, because after the Super Bowl, the season's over. Last call for football on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you have not subscribed already, would love it if you did so. Cats win it by 3 here. They were favored by 1.5. I was shocked that they were favored heading into this one just because of how Vegas seems to think Tennessee's still very good. The computer models still think the Vols are a very good team. This is a matchup problem. Mark Pope has now proven through 2 seasons that he can be a matchup problem for the way that Rick Barnes wants to operate. Kentucky didn't shoot the ball well today. Just 5 of 19 from 3, 26.3%. If they get a couple of those rainbow triples from Collin Chandler the fall from the corner, this is looking like a little bit of a different contest. Kentucky has so much out in front of them. What a win tonight. We'll start here with Otega Oweh, 21 points, 10 of 17 shooting. He was locked in from the jump, scoring the ball. Now, were there some issues on defense? Sure. Were there some lapses? Fine. But Otega Oweh is looking like your SEC player of the year. I know that there's a lot of other places you could go. Thomas Howell, LeBaron Philon, maybe a Keyshawn Hall from Auburn, but Otega has been the most consistent player in the SEC this season and might be one of the most consistent players in all of college hoops. 21 points on efficient shooting, 4 boards, 2 assists, and 36 minutes of play. He's going out there and he's getting it done. If only he was a little bit better of a free throw shooter. Speaking of free throws, what a weird night from Kentucky shooting the ball from the charity stripe. I believe they started this game 0 of 5 or 0 of 6, and Tennessee didn't shoot that well either. It was a weird one, and it's so odd to me how now through SEC play, Kentucky continuing to really struggle from the foul line, shooting just 70.1% from the free throw line. That has to change. But you still got 21 points from your star out of Otega Oweh. You also got production from Denzel Aberdeen at the point guard spot. Yes, he had 3 turnovers, but he also had 3 assists and 16 points. He knocked down a couple of threes. He was forced into a couple of late shot clock shots, which I think hinder his efficiency here, but I'm not terribly upset with it. I thought Denzel, especially in that second half, played well. He played well in the second half in the first go-around against Tennessee, and he came alive here again. Chandler was 3 of 6 from deep to go along with 3 assists and 2 steals, no turnovers. I thought he got fouled at the rim, something that Chandler has to work on this offseason, and I think this could really take him to the next level as one of the best players in this league, is touch around the rim. He's super awkward around the basket, and he's missed a lot of bunnies this year. He missed another one here today. If he's able to find some touch as the slasher that he once was in high school, then you're going to see, I think, the production from him skyrocket, because not only do you have to defend him from 3, which you're starting to see a little bit more off the dribble from him, which is phenomenal, but you also have to respect his ability to get past you as an athlete, hang, and hit. If you could add that to your game, you are a super incredible, you're a great shooting guard to have in the league. Chandler with 9 huge points tonight. Malachi Marino with 10 huge points tonight. That late turnaround little baby hook, the touch on that was pure. 4 of 6 from the line. Those 2 free throws late were huge to go along with 5 boards, 3 assists, and 2 blocks. Kentucky credited with 4 blocks tonight, according to the stats broadcast, but it feels like they had about a dozen because of how they attacked Tennessee at the rim, how they affected the shots down low from Tennessee's bigs. And this is something that we said, honestly, in the preview episode with host of Eric Kane, host of Locked On Vols, who's texted me after the game. I can't repeat on air, but oh boy, how about 2 blown leads for you here if you're a Tennessee fan? That is tough. 17 in the first game, 14 in this one. But Kentucky, throughout the course of this game, just continuing to affect Tennessee at the rim, to be really physical. Vols ended up shooting just 36.6% inside the arc, 15 of 41. JP Estrella going 4 of 13. Bishop Boswell knocking down a couple, but it's Jacoby Gillespie 1 of 4. Amari Evans 0 of 2. Dwayne Brown 1 of 6. Just sort of fogging stuff up at times. Kentucky in the second half, the more physical team, the more aggressive team, the team that wanted the game more. In the first half, it was very clear Tennessee wanted to come out and make a statement. They wanted to come out and prove that they could get back at Kentucky, that they could lock in on the night where Kentucky's rocking denim and celebrating the 1996 national championship. And Kentucky responded in the second half again. They responded again. I don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen. This is an extremely volatile, unpredictable team. They have won 8 out of their last 9 games. The assumption, especially given the contests that they have to close this regular season out, the assumption is they will regress back to the mean. They will struggle, they will flame out, and they will lose. If you are Kentucky, if you are this team, if you are Mark Pope, if you are a player on this squad, if you are a graduate assistant, if you are a staff member, that's not how you feel about it. As we have continued to say since January 1st, what has been one of my big New Year's resolutions, forget what the computer models say. Forget the fact that they project Kentucky to go somewhere between 2-5 or 3-4 here, or excuse me, 2 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 and 5. My gosh, or possibly 3 and 4 to close this out. Forget what the computer models are predicting, because you know what they didn't predict? They didn't predict Kentucky to go on the road and beat Tennessee. They did not predict them to go on the road and get back at Arkansas and John Calipari. They didn't predict them to beat Tennessee at home. This was supposed to be a team that gave out, that lost. But if you watch this team play, if you watch their confidence, if you watch their body language, they don't want to give up. They don't want to quit just yet. You have a huge game on the road against Florida next Saturday. You got a week to prepare for it. This is one of the best teams in the country. One of the best teams in the nation, according to humans and according to computer models and according to eye test. They are just insane and hard to stop, even when they're not shooting well. And when they are shooting well, it's Jover. Georgia, Auburn, South Carolina. If you can find a way, at worst, to go 2-2 or go 3-1 over the course of these next 4 games, I mean, you're rocking. You're rocking. The SEC crown is right there. This team has to stay composed. They have to stay poised, and they have to stay locked in. If you are this team, forget what the outsiders are saying. Forget what I'm saying. Forget what you are saying. Forget what everybody is saying about you, that you can't make this happen. Because it's very clear, when it looks like this team is done for, they're not. The announcement of Kentucky's demise, at worst, was greatly exaggerated. And here we are, 17-7. I don't care if Kentucky is ranked in the AP Top 25 come Monday. Who cares what people think about this team? Who cares? Why does it matter if we've got a number next to our name or not? Who cares? Let's go to Florida and let's get a dub. 74-71 is the final score. We'll be wrapping up the show here. We'll talk to the live chat. Almost 300 of you in here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like the video. We'll be wrapping this one up. Well, I say wrapping up. We're probably going to talk to you guys for a hot minute here in just a little bit. Before we do it, though, tell you guys about our friends over at Mazda, moving the game forward. It's our historical segment where we highlight a player, a play, a fan, or a coach. I want to talk a little bit more about that Collin Chandler 3. The Collin Chandler 3 where Otega's driving baseline. He gets cut off by, I believe, 2 defenders, and he's suspended in the air, not really anywhere to go, flicks it out to Chandler. And I told Jake Evans, if he's still watching, thanks you so much for tuning in. I told my friend Jake, I think my heart, something up here in my throat, dropped. I can't say exactly what I said, but it basically dropped out of my body because I was scared to see that shot fly. And I'll tell you who wasn't, is Collin Chandler. He has been so clutch and so heroic for Kentucky in these late moments down the stretch in SEC play. And moments like that remind us what it takes to raise the bar. It's the extra work off the court. It's the dialing in on every single detail. It's giving it that extra fire, that extra effort, that grit, and the I won't quit factor. Mazda puts that exact same passion into every single car that they make. So highlights may make the reel, right? But what it actually took to get to that Collin Chandler shot, what it took to actually get to that finished product, makes it count. There's more to a Mazda because there's more to you. Today's episode is also brought to you by TurboTax. Tax season doesn't have to take over your life, guys, and it's here. This year, TurboTax is making it easier than ever to just hand things off. Move on with your day. With TurboTax full service, you can have your taxes done for you by a trusted expert, start to finish. No stress, no guesswork. Instead of spending hours figuring out forms, you can meet with local TurboTax experts in person or you can connect online. They handle literally everything from W-2s to self-employed forms and work to get you every single deduction possible. It's a huge time saver, gives real peace of mind knowing that an expert is handling it for you. For a limited time, you can have your taxes done by a local TurboTax expert for just $150. All in if a TurboTax expert didn't file for you last year. Just file by February 28th. Take taxes off your plate and get back to your life. Visit TurboTax.com/local to book your appointment today. Wrapping up today's episode, 300 strong in the live chat. 7471, again, is your final Inside Rupp Arena Denim Night 1996 National Championship celebration. You'll notice, if you're watching on YouTube, everything denim coated as we roll along here, 17-7, 8-3 in SEC play. Kentucky's demise, greatly exaggerated. The Cats back from the dead. For now, we don't know what's going to happen. Who knows? Who knows? The unpredictables roll along after a season sweep of their arch-rival Tennessee. 29 points from Nate Ament, 15 from Jacoby Gillespie. A large portion of those points for both of those two players coming in the first half, 19 and 14 respectively. After in the second half, they were held to 10 points for Nate Ament and just 1 for Jacoby. Jacoby finishing 0 of 6 from the floor in the second period of play in 18 minutes. Kentucky locked up. They locked up. Meanwhile, in the second half, 9 points from Otega Oweh, 9 points from Denzel Aberdeen, 6 from Collin Chandler, 5 from Marino, 4 from Johnson, 2 from Garrison, 4 from Dioubate. The most balanced scoring efforts there. It's a team effort. It's a team effort right now. Your rotation has been shortened. You have to find a way to win with the players on the floor. No Cam Williams, no Jalen Lowe, no Jaden Quaintance, no point guard, no lottery pick center, no spraying from 3 from your small forward. This is the best you have, and they are making it work. Incredible. 16 assists to 9 turnovers tonight. 17 assists to 13 for the Vols. Kentucky crushed on the offensive glass, 19-8. But Tennessee could not make it count. The crazy thing is that while they did grab 19 O boards, they finished with 12 second chance points. Kentucky, 8 O boards, 14 second chance points. That counts as a win in my book. 12 points off turnovers as compared to Tennessee's 10. 4 less turnovers. 10 more bench points. Tennessee only got 4 points from their bench tonight. 4. Kentucky, 20 more points in the paint. Crushed this Tennessee defense that has been heralded by analysts, by computer models, by everyone as a phenomenal rim protecting D. And yes, they are good. They are respectable. They weren't good enough tonight. 44 points for Kentucky inside the paint to just 24 for Tennessee. 4 blocks, 8 steals. What an incredible performance in the second half. We will get to the live chat. Great Kentuckian. I will love/hate the fact that Tennessee fans will not admit how they suck and believe that the only win they should ever matter is both that Tennessee wins in the NCAA tournament shows how low and desperate they are. Not to discredit the comments coming from long-time listener, Great Kentuckian, I do not care what Tennessee fans have to say about us, have to say about this game, have to say about the 2 games, or have to say about the NCAA tournament win last year. I will listen to Eric Kane, host of Locked On Vols, because I like Eric. I respect Eric. I think he does a great job on his show. But I won't listen to anyone else. I do not care to hear what you have to say about the officiating if you're a casual Tennessee fan watching this, or if you refuse to admit XYZ. To be fair, I don't think Tennessee sucks. I don't think Tennessee's a bad team. I think, and as much as they may not like this, I think it's reality. Kentucky matches up well with them. The coach that we've got has Rick Barnes' number right now. He's got it. And there's not a whole lot that you can do about that until you change your personnel, which I'm sure they're going to be cleaning house this year. And just to let you guys know, Kentucky's probably going to be doing a little bit of the same. So we'll see. It would be cool if JQ was healthy on this long bye week, says Ito. I thought about that on the drive home, thinking, man, wouldn't it be sweet if you got Jaden Quaintance back for this Florida matchup? Because let me tell you who would be huge in this matchup for Kentucky defensively. JQ would be, because this is one of the biggest teams, Kentucky, physically biggest teams that Kentucky's going to face all year, where they essentially play 3 power forwards effectively, and Thomas Howe, Alex Condon, and Ruben Chinulu. I mean, you could theoretically, if you really wanted to, put any of these 3 guys at center, but they've got 3 of them out there at the same time in their most common lineup. And then they've got Boogie Fland, who is very talented, and Xavier Lee, who has not played well this year, but was a bucket getter at Princeton. So far through SEC play, Florida has the best offense and the best defense. To be able to get JQ back would be huge, I think. Got to give Mark Pope props. I think he has done a hell of a job considering the injuries, says Triple F. I could not agree more. The conversations surrounding Mark Pope and his future at Kentucky, I'll be honest with you. At 9-6, I thought the conversations were fair. I still think they were fair. To look up after all of the expectations this team had, for them to be 9-6 and have, at that point, they had been blown out by Michigan State, Gonzaga, and Alabama, and they were coming off of an embarrassing loss at home to Missouri. At that point, the criticism and the fire that they were under was warranted. I still think that was warranted. I think Mark Pope would tell you that it was warranted. He said it while it was happening. Anything that Big Blue Nation says, they deserve to say. It was fair. It was fair. Now, at 17-7, if you can close this thing out with 20-plus wins and at least one more, and find a way to win in the NCAA tournament, you know what? All pressure's off. You have to take into consideration context here. Really think about this with me for a second. If you are still very upset with Pope or this team, context. You had a point guard. You had 2. One of them left you before the season started, and he's playing well at Villanova. The other one had dislocated his shoulder 3 separate times. There's not a whole lot you can do about that. This team doesn't have a point guard. On top of that, you don't just stumble into an Amari Williams, every year. That just doesn't happen. So a point center was not coming along for Kentucky. That wasn't going to be Jaden Quaintance, and it's not going to be Malachi Marino or Brandon Garrison, although I think they played well tonight. They are not Amari. They just aren't. So you don't have a way to consistently run the offense because you don't have a point guard. Your lottery pick center, who was one of the best defenders in the nation last year and projected to be one of the best in the nation this year, has suited up for just how many games? 4 for Kentucky? And he really only made an impact in 1? The guy that was supposed to change everything for you around the rim hasn't been able to play. And then your 40+% three-point shooter at 6'8", who transferred in from Tulane, started shooting the ball this season very poorly. Very poorly. And then he started picking it up after an 8 of 10 performance against Bellarmine, and then he broke his foot. You can't do anything about that. You can't do anything about your lottery pick center getting hurt. You can't do anything about your small forward breaking his foot, and you can't do anything about dislocated shoulder. You are now down to, at best, a 9-man rotation, probably tighter depending on how fouls go. It might even be even tighter than that with an 8th man barely getting in any run, a.k.a. Jasper, if the matchup is specific to needing a tighter rotation, I guess I should say. He's doing the best with what he has. And he got a poor shooting night from them from deep today, and they still won. This team's been shooting the ball incredibly well over this stretch. They didn't shoot well today. They still found a way to win. Could they pull off another miracle against Florida? We don't know. But as of right now, they're fighting. And Pope has done, I think, a really good job of finding ways to win. And yes, some of these teams haven't been that good, but I need you to remember, guys, Tennessee's a quad 1. Arkansas is a quad 1. Tennessee at home's a quad 1. St. John's. I mean, Kentucky is starting to stack up here. The back half of their schedule, a pretty decent resume. Just keep finding ways to win against the teams that matter. Ito says, I say this all the time, but it's true. Take the starting point guard and small forward and center off of every team. Who is doing as well as we are right now? Nobody. So I guess I'll ask that back to the chat or anybody listening on podcast. Think about it for a second. If you took the starting point guard, small forward, and center out of the lineup of any national championship contender, let's do Arizona. If you took Jaden Bradley, Koa Pete, and Toby Akawa out of the rotation, how good would Arizona be right now? If you went to Michigan and you said, we take out Elliot Cadeau, Yaxel Lindenberg, and I think Mara, the transfer from UCLA, how good would Michigan be right now? If you went to Houston and you took out Kingston Flemings, Milos Uzan, and Chris Senack, how good would the Cougars be right now? That is a phenomenal thought. Puts it into perspective. Again, context matters. As Captain Crash in the chat says, we saw the incredible skid Louisville went on when Mikal Brown went out. Just one player went out. Kentucky's without 3, 2 of them that make both sides of the ball theoretically go. It's a great question. Who is still winning? Who's still finding ways to win? You know, to be honest with you, what we should have expected was Kentucky to get down against Tennessee, against Vanderbilt, against Tennessee again, and just die against LSU on the road. They should have just, against Mississippi State early, they should have just given up. They don't have the personnel to fight back like this, and yet they still do. And yet, just incredible fight. Captain Crash says, I keep pointing out that everything people were saying about Pope, they said about Joe B. Hall, and B. Hall went 15-15 in year 2. Great Kentuckian says, Lance, do we have a chance to steal a win either between Auburn or A&M? I think we could win either, but we are pretty much secured for the 4th seed in the conference tournament. If things don't blow up horribly, you're right, double bye is probably on the table. Do we have a chance to steal Auburn or A&M? I think we have a chance to steal either. And to be honest with you, is it a steal? Depends on how the game plays out, I guess. But Auburn at 14-9, really good offense, but have struggled on defense. Texas A&M came into the season hot. Now stumbling a little bit, but they've kind of gotten into some shootouts. Is Kentucky capable of that? As somebody in the live chat asks, is Auburn a steal, quote unquote, at this point? I guess it would count as a steal because you know what that environment's going to be like. You know how that team's going to get up for it. Their back's against the wall a little bit at this point. If they're going to make a push for the NCAA tournament, they need a game like Kentucky at home. That's a big possible quad one for them. But I don't know. I don't want to. There's no such thing as a jinx. And if you think what I'm about to say jinxes Kentucky, that's okay. I would actually be confident in Kentucky taking one of those games. Maybe not both, but one of them. Because both of them, I think, have issues. Now, does Kentucky have issues? Yeah. But are they fighting through them unlike some of these other teams? Yes. So I think that, yes, I would like my chances at Kentucky stealing one of them, especially considering they're on the road. I'd count it as a steal if you got either of them. Be big. It would be big. They are scrapping and fighting and finding a way to win. Champions, all true teams, are teams that make adjustments on the fly and can win in different ways, says Biker Believer. Truth. The SEC's wide open right now. Almost anybody's to take at this point. True. A&M looked like middle schoolers playing the varsity team against who? Against who? Florida? Because they got whipped today. Ito says, I hope Kentucky makes good use of the bye week and gets a decent count for Florida. Let's just get some rest and lock in mentally. Dougie Hudson says, Lance, we're second place in the SEC. No one saw this coming. 8-3, baby. 8-3. You know where you'd be right now if you'd beat Missouri? You'd be 9-2. You'd be on top of the world right now. You'd be 18-6 and you would be stroking. That loss is probably, I'm just going to go ahead and say it, it's probably going to come back to haunt Kentucky, to be honest with you. It's probably going to come back to haunt them, which I really hope it doesn't. I really hope it doesn't. Whew. Guys, what a win. What a win, what a win, what a win. Rockin' denim. Rockin' denim. It's not about the denim, as Pope is like to say. It's about what's in them. All right, that's going to do it for tonight's episode of the show. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you have not subscribed, would love it if you went ahead and did so. Got a lot to talk about next week. What do the Cats do? What do they do? You can follow the show on Twitter at LockedOnUK. Follow me on Twitter at @LanceDahl_, and follow the show over on Instagram. That is at Kentucky Podcast. Hey, look, the outro to the show is denim as well. Any questions, comments, concerns, leave those in the YouTube comments below. Hit me on the socials. I will see you all on Monday for another episode of the show. Hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. God bless, and go Cats.